Switchboards were lighting up in Alberta yesterday, full of controversy. The Wildlife Act in Alberta was just amended so that wildlife managers had the option of using hunting as a tool to manage grizzly bears. General grizzly bear hunting in Alberta stopped almost 20 years ago. Their populations were getting dangerously low, and hunting and the populations weren't sustainable. But over the last 2 decades, Alberta has done an amazing job at recovering grizzly bears on the eastern slope of the Rocky Mountains. Today, grizzly bears are expanding out of the mountains into the foothills and onto the plains. But unfortunately, they're coming in contact with people, rural farmers, rural ranchers, and rural settled areas, and it's causing conflict. Bears are being killed, livestock are being killed, people are being injured, and there have been fatalities. As I understand it, the change to the Wildlife Act allows wildlife managers to identify a problem bear or a problem area and select licensed resident hunters to hunt and remove problem grizzly bears. But yesterday there was a lot of rhetoric in the news across Canada about this. Stuff like the moratorium on grizzly bear hunting has been lifted in Alberta. Alberta has sanctioned the return of the grizzly bear trophy hunt, these sorts of things. Well, that's simply not true. Like I said, this is a change to the Wildlife Act that gives wildlife managers and biologists the option of using hunting as a management tool to deal with grizzly bear conflict outside the core grizzly bear recovery areas. So do I think this is a good idea to use hunting as a management tool to manage grizzly bears in Alberta? I do. I have 3 main reasons why I support this. First of all, rural people who live in close proximity of dangerous wildlife know firsthand the consequences and the stress of living with those big dangerous animals around their homes. This change acknowledges the risks and consequences and stress to rural resident Albertans, and it shows that rural people and farmers and ranchers are respected as well as grizzly bears being respected. This change embodies the principles of sustainable utilization in hunting and wildlife management, and the fact that rather than conflict bears being destroyed, dumped, or buried, a hunter actually gets to fully utilize and enjoy the animal that's been taken, the hide and the meat. And lastly, this has the potential to be a huge cost savings to Alberta taxpayers, because most of the cost of grizzly bear management is going to be borne by hunters. That's what hunters do when hunting is used as a management tool. So the likelihood of grizzly bear management in Alberta turning into a $12 million boondoggle like the Sydney Island deer cull is likely not going to happen under this scenario. And that to me is a positive thing. So overall, the change to the Wildlife Act in Alberta that allows wildlife managers to have the option of using licensed resident hunters in grizzly bear management is going to be good for people, and it's going to be good for grizzly bear conservation.